Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Super excited about this next episode. I know it's been a while since I've had a live. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with my show, I own JH Creative and I run JHC and Friends on this live channel on Facebook and YouTube because I love asking people about their story and getting to know them. And I might as well record it and feature them on my channels. So, my guest for this episode is Marcus Duval. I'm so happy that you had some time to take out of your busy schedule to tell us your story. And for those of you who don't know, he actually is super talented in many areas, pretty much multimedia. Like, I think when we first met, you did some photography work for me, right? And
Absolutely.
I can't even recall how I stumbled on you. Like, I find creatives somewhere, either through social or somebody
It was
introduced
actually
us.
Dummy Station.
It
Dummy
was at
Station.
Dummy where we met?
hmm
Okay, you tell me about that. It's been so long.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's
So
great to
so
be here.
did you
It's great to be
started
here.
your business before you went to Dummy though, right? You've been running
Yes,
your business for so long now.
yes. I started my first business at sort of 16, and I was just a regular photographer for friends of mine who wanted pictures of parties. They wanted to go hang out, and they wanted someone to be there to capture those moments. This was obviously before cell phone photos, right? Because now there's no reason for me to be there if you have a phone. So I started early, and when so let's say around 21, 22, me and a buddy of mine started a graphic design sort of, you know, conglomerate. That's what we called it at the time. But we were trying to start a business and didn't know how to run a business. So we said, hey, we got to get space. And one of the spaces we went to was Domi Station. And actually, that is where we saw each other for the first time. And I think the person that recommended us was a person who sat right next to us, and because we would see you from time to time, and the person next to us knew that knew that I was a photographer. My buddy Jason was a graphic designer, and then that's how we met.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, I when I needed some work done, it was for an event and you took photos of these athletes that I wanted to feature. I mean, they were national athletes for Ultimate, the
Mhm.
USA Ultimate team, and you came through and took some photos for me, and you were really easy to work with. And then I know we were in and out of Domi, like for different reasons, right? And then we reunited because you were also working for another company at the time, doing something completely different. What was it again? Was it a landscape design?
Yes,
Uh,
I was doing architectural design, and the focus of my section was landscape architecture. So the company that I was working for at the time wanted to expand to Tallahassee, and decided that they needed a space. They wanted something with a Google type vibe where it wasn't so corporate. It was in a cool part of town. Domi has been a really cool place for a long time, so we ended up coming to Domi, and it was a lot of fun. But like you said, it was definitely not what well, I've been doing design and 3D design for a long time, but everyone knows that I do photography. So my corporate side ended up being more design and IT work. So I went and worked for the company for a year, an exact year, to learn the ropes. It was an amazing experience, and I was doing architectural design, and that's where I ran into you again on another project. There we go.
I know. It was funny because I was like, he looks so familiar, but I feel like I don't know if I'll be wrong if I say, when you bump into somebody, you're like, I feel like I've met them before. And
Yeah,
I've done this before where I said, I think I know you. And they say, I don't know you. I've been wrong before. So
and I figured that's what was going on. So one day I was just like, "Hey, Julie, how you doing?"
I know. I was
You're
like,
like,
oh, it is
Marcus. I
you.
was like, "Yeah,
Marcus.
it's me."
Because you looked a lot taller too.
Yeah, we were in our 20s the last time we saw each other. Yeah.
Oh, so you went through another growth spurt? Oh my
No, I
goodness.
just got smaller. That's all.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay. So you like I'm looking at your profile and you know how to do all kinds of software. Adobe products, photographer, and so you also dabbled with landscape architect. Like what made you want to do that kind of service?
Well, I've always been right. So, like I said, I started out doing graphic design, and so let me roll it back a little bit. So, I went to Florida State with a major in art, with a concentration in studio art and sculpture. So, sculpture was what I was doing in college. So, the next the next logical evolution from hands-on building a piece is to imagine what the piece looks like before you build it, right? Because you can't always spend thousands and thousands of hours trying to make something and then you get there and it's like not the scale you wanted or it's not the right proportions. So I started doing 3D rendering and animation, less animation and more the rendering. So in the rendering, it opened the door to understand that there are so many avenues in this rendering process. Meaning, I could create an abstract piece, but then I could also create an actual space if I know the dimensions or if I know uh, what the space is made of or how much space I need to fill. So that got me into learning about things like Revit and SketchUp was what I learned first because I also use SketchUp to do one or two billboards because SketchUp gave you the opportunity to put things in a scale and actually put it in a place where you could see how it looks before it was actually built or the billboard was actually put up. So I got into it in a roundabout way, but then just my design aesthetic, my personal fashion said I love interior spaces, not necessarily outdoor spaces, which was the funny thing is I'm not a big outdoors guy, but to I started looking at the outdoor spaces and said, how do I make this outdoor space feel like an indoor space? Like that was my idea. Um, but then you learn through working that the city has its own idea of how things should be, or whatever municipality that you're in, they have an idea of how much of certain surfaces you could have or um, access to different things. So I ended up loving landscape architecture, and but still looped me back into my love of interior design. So that's what I was doing for them. I was hoping to get more into the interior spaces, but with them, I didn't get a chance to. I just mainly did landscape architecture.
It's really cool. I mean, just because you wanted to learn that process, so you got into it. And then um now I know there's multiple things. So there's a photography business and then you also have your business partner. Is Garrison Creative what you're doing now as well?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So Garrison Creative is it's so Garrison Creative has been the company that myself, my buddy Jason, and my another buddy of mine, Brian Ringo, kind of put together a while ago. So we all have in design, we all have different concentrations. Me, I do 3D rendering, interior design, more architectural design. Jason is hardcore graphic designer, an amazing guy when it comes to designing website user interfaces and user experiences. Ringo is a coder. He can make the thing run, but he does this really cool abstract art too. And so his art has actually translated very well to certain companies that want something noticeable, but not everyday corporate. Like you notice it has the clean lines, but it's not something that would be as recognizable, or you couldn't you couldn't do it twice. And he creates those type of work. So we all have been in a sort of a, and we give each other ideas. We also give each other, work, because I do websites as well, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I also do still billboard design, magazines, and whatnot, but not my favorite thing to do. So I try to get them, and then neither one of them are a photographer. So, I try to stay over here doing this, anything that I can give to them, so that they can do. And we all run our own sort of business underneath. So it's never a situation where any of us are competing for business. We're just helping each other get business.
That's really cool. So it's, in a sense, it's like a partnership. You're both you're providing the services for a company that might need all of them, and you're both
Yes.
you're I mean, multiple partners. Obviously, you work with each other to refer business to one another.
Yes.
It sounds like, yeah, that's really cool. So how long have you been running Garrison Creative then? It sounds like it's been a while.
So it actually, all right. So Garrison Creative Company, it actually has been around since 2015. Let's say, uh, I don't know, appropriately,
Mhm.
'cause,
Like officially,
officially, it's
kind
been
of that you've been helping
yeah,
each other for a longer time,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. According to the state of Florida, it's been 2015. But as long as I can remember, I've been making money.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it started in 2015, and it's it's been it's been a really interesting experience running a business, because I come into the my issue is that I I want to do work that I can show everyone, right? But then when you get to clients, they feel as if they know more than you do, which is great. And
right.
I've created a lot of great things, taken a lot of amazing photos. But I get to the point where I'm like, the clients' work that I'm doing, it fell short somewhere. So
Mhm.
I don't necessarily want to show it all the time. And I'm struggling with that, because I believe that maybe I may be my own worst enemy in that regard. But
No,
I
I think it's a common struggle for us creatives that want to do great work. Like we want to do great work to show people that we're proud of something, and then when it comes to client work, they want it done, high quality, super fast for low cost. Like that's
Yeah.
just not possible. And you have to pick two of the three kind of thing, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so yeah, no, I think it's a very, that's something I definitely could
Well, let me ask you a question.
relate
Have
to
you
you about.
noticed that the things that you love to do, and it didn't cost you anything other than time, or is it me, or do you end up being a little happier with those things?
That's a great question. I think, yeah, I think it has a lot to do with what we're deeply passionate about. And there's certain things that I naturally am inclined to do just to get something done to help people out. I think deeply rooted, I want to help people out. I think, most entrepreneurs want to help people solve a specific problem. Um, so yeah, I am happy when I can help people save time and money. So my mission is kind of defined to be around that. And
Mm.
so I know some people are like, well, what does that mean?
No, I get it though.
You know?
I get it though. I get it. I get
Yeah.
when we have those projects that aren't constrained by the budget and the time. So look, majority of my portfolio are not client work. It's literally me wanting to explore something, a feeling, a theme, a mood, a color. Like I want to just explore where I am at the time. And so my portfolio that you see is literally filled with that. What's in my brain and how do I get it out? Because a lot of times, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a portfolio that will allow people to see my heart in a manner. That way we can be more collaborative, as opposed to, the client and service provider. Like, I want to come in and I want to partner with your idea and I want to make your idea sing. And a lot of times, I don't think we get to do that because, someone is constrained by time, or you'd say it would cost us this amount of money to rent a space that would tell this story, but the person never considered that in the time, in the in the
Mm-hmm.
whole approach of the treatment of the project. So I don't know. I just find that when I'm inspired and I have free time, I make magic happen.
Especially when it's something you like doing, right? And
Exactly.
it shows in your work. I mean, just fair warning for anyone who's at work that some pictures are NSFW. But I'll skim through it really fast. But it's beautiful work, you know. The lighting is beautiful. I mean, look at that. It's just amazing. So do you have a studio? I
Yeah,
mean, do y'all okay.
yeah.
Do you
Studio
still
is
have
at
is it the same studio or did you move?
no. I'm at the same place. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, 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 no. I remember. Oh, I had to use my brain there for a second. No. So that studio that I shot Ultimate in was way across town, at the edges of at the edges of town, the north side of town. Studio that I've been working out of now for the last 6 years is Studio 715 on 715 Railroad Avenue, which is
Oh.
right across the street ish from Doming.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Like we've been looking for a possible studio space where we can, potentially use for videos and or even for our members. So we
Oh
should
yeah,
have a
that's awesome.
conversation on what that, could look
Yeah.
like.
And we do that now. We currently rent space to FSU's film school as well as their different publications. So yeah, I've been there 7 years now.
Oh, that's great. It's good to know. I haven't even heard of that studio.
Yeah, studio. Well, it's Studio 715. It's been Studio 715 for a
Uh-huh.
long time, but it was formerly Denmark Studio.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I haven't even probably mostly film guys and photographers know about it.
Yes, yes.
The serious creatives. Um Yeah, no, that's awesome. I didn't know about that. Do they like I see stuff and I learn new things through Instagram or just social media. And sometimes that's the thing about Tallahassee. It's like you have to know people to know what's going on or the right people to connect with, that kind of thing. That's something I've been here for 11 years now and I'm still learning new things about the Tallahassee community.
Oh wow, it's only been 11 years.
It's like,
Oh,
you're like,
right.
oh, you're still a newbie, Julia.
Exactly.
But you're
Exactly.
original. You were born and raised?
Okay. I was born here. I actually grew up in Pensacola. My mother, I divided the time between my mother in Pensacola and my father here in Tallahassee. So I went to school in Pensacola because I went to private school, um,
Hmm.
middle school and high school, and then I would spend my summers here. So I am I am a super local is what I like to call myself, but I'm not a native, right?
You're
Uh,
very local,
yeah.
like
So I've been
true
here.
Floridian.
Yes, I've been here all my life. Yes.
And so what brought you to New York? So tell us the story about like how you ended up in New York.
New York. New York was like, okay. So when you're that young, I was 19 at the time. When you're that young, there is no single story that gets you anywhere, right? So I wanted to be a fashion photographer and study from the greats, right? Whoever they were at the time. Um, then I also was motivated, chasing a girl. So I ended up I ended up going there and spent 6 months on the sofa. Uh, and then I would come back and forth to a buddy of mine's house. So in terms of moving, I've never been the guy who would commit that strongly to something, but every other weekend, 2, 3 times a month, I did that. I did that for a year because back then flying was also really cheap, and we weren't opposed to flying somewhere and then riding a bus. So I did that and just beat around with his agency. The agency at the time was Uptown Model Management. A lot of that rolled into another model agency called Red. So I ended up going up there and shooting new faces and traveling, and I started doing video work too because I had the know-how, and at the time video was uber expensive. So here it is. I'm a guy. I need to not pay for, staying here. I'll go ahead and add some video stuff in, and I got really good at it really quickly. And New York taught me some really amazing things. I got to meet some really great photographers. Um, Shamari Moncho, great mentor of mine way back then. Um, I was a real big fan of Rick Day, who was up and coming. Um, Terry, a lot of different photographers I like. My favorite has kind of always been Patrick Demarchelier. He just creates amazing work. And I figured, if I stayed around long enough, I could run into him, hopefully. Never happened, but, it's New York. You get distracted quickly. So it wasn't a thing. So and then I ended up coming back here after I built a pretty decent portfolio of working new faces at the time, and just to bring that sort of style here to Tallahassee. Um, it hasn't quite translated yet, but I'm thinking that I just got to be me, and I just got to shoot what I love,
Yeah.
which is why I always keep a corporate job.
Yeah. No, I know. It's that's the thing too, and several creatives fully understand that there's the market value and the national rate, and then there's the local rate. And people are so used to the local mindset. Nothing against Tallahassee, but I think there's a tipping point now where I think they're starting to understand that creatives are highly valuable, and you need that technical skill set. You need to support a role that for that person either internally, or you do need to contract out. I mean, um,
What's funny
yeah.
is I've run into my issue is not necessarily the rate. It always comes back down to the work, right?
Hmm. The style.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
style. It's
Yeah.
like I'd never understand how a person will, like, people will go to Barnes and Noble, flip through magazines day in and day out, and love what they see, but somehow never make the transition that you can have that too. There's a guy in your area. And I'm not necessarily talking about me. There's some guy in the middle of, nowhere, nowhere America, and they're creating brilliant work because they're inspired by the Barnes and Noble, and they say, I want that style. I want to do that. So it's never been an issue of me with the the budget is an
Hmm.
issue of like can we can we push it, push it more, can we get
Hmm.
more out of this, and but it comes down to, and a buddy of mine told me a long time ago that a lot of times a person never thinks about it that far, especially with photography. They just want a clean, clear picture. So you're thinking, oh my God, I could run 100 miles an hour, when this person's like, hey, I just need 20. So, and and that has literally been my issue on how to say, because for the longest time, I just believed that I would do 3 times the amount of work for the money, because I'd go, well, this is going to represent me. And then you realize that the world has changed, and you know, photos don't, in my opinion, photos don't mean the same thing they used to. So if I'm going to create the work that I love, then I'm going to support it with doing high quality work for my clients, and then shoot what I love as a form of just simple expression.
And for you, I could tell it really has to, it's like, it is the artwork. It is the quality of work and the process involved. And there, yeah, everyone has a different approach and different style. There's people will get the job done just to get it done. But I'm very similar where I am particular about my process with my clients, and so I do charge uh pretty competitively compared to some of the larger, uh I guess you could say, agencies, but I'm not trying to be an agency.
Well, all right.
uh
So what do you just? All right. So imagine. All right. So imagine the. Okay. So imagine there's something that has, let's say, and I'm just going to throw out random numbers here. So imagine that you go to New York, and these New York numbers are actual numbers. So you're going to get headshots done, and you're going to go to the tune of $1,500, right? What's the difference with that headshot at $1,500 and someone somewhere else at, let's say, $350, right? These They understand their market, right? They understand that they could go to New York and it's just New York, right? There's no difference in the quality or the approach, but a lot of times you're paying for the name,
mhm.
which is, hey, I got my headshots done by so.
Uh-oh, looks like it froze. I hope I didn't freeze. Let's see. Let me see if I could pull him back out. Let me see. Unless I froze. Hold on a second. Yeah, he should be able to hop back on. I think I messaged him and he's gonna hop on in a second. Hopefully the internet. There is a thunderstorm right now and might have affected his connection over there. Let me check to see. In other news, for those of you who are watching this recording, um, just messaging. Um, yeah, so there's a really exciting event called Startup Bus. It's July 27th. And for those of you who are interested in startups, acceleration programs in general, Startup Bus is a really cool program. Who wants to try it on wheels? Like, you can sign up, and it's actually starting in Tampa, but apparently they're letting people hop on en route to Austin. So the destination will be Austin, and I will go ahead and just pull that up here. And yeah, Dummy Station's going to be hosting a startup bus pitch event. It's going to be between 4 p.m. to 6:30. It's probably not going to last that long, but it gives you plenty of time to network. For those of you who are interested, you can click on this link right here to register if you want to participate and apply for the program. And then for those of you who want to watch that mock pitch event, you can just hop on or join us for free at Dummy Station. So please register and go check that info out. I will put it in the comments. Oh, looks like Laura Lee saw us earlier. Thank you so much. I hope Marcus can still hop on. Maybe he lost connection, so um, I will see. Thanks, Laura Lee, for hopping on. I see that you made a little comment. I totally missed that part. I didn't see it. Um, oh, there he is. Yay!
I went out, Tallahassee and mid midday weather.
Sorry. Yeah, I mentioned like it must be weather, but it's totally fine. Okay, you were saying.
What was I saying? Because I was trying to get back on so quickly, I forgot.
I
Uh,
think it has something
so,
to do
uh,
with, yeah.
so how much of it is now about just the name, the I don't know. It's sort of the competitive. I paid this much because I had it to pay, as opposed to just paying for something that was good to a guy who may not be as expensive. Like, how much do you think that is now? Because even with what you do, I look at uh, some sites and they tell you flat out, this is what we're going to start with, and then we'll build on from there. How do you how do you balance that?
Great question. I love how we're making it a mutual interview. um, I really think it has to do with the person who's inquiring. I really think it has to do with the where that person is at, where the company is at. Sometimes they're just ready to just spend, you know? And so I really, yeah, it really comes to timing and budget and all of that. So, but for me, I don't budge. It really depends. And as far as pricing goes from a creative standpoint, it really has to do with our mindset and how we feel comfortable charging people after several years of experience, right? So I for some reason I lost you. Or I see you, you're on, but your camera's not showing you. Can you hear me okay? Oh no, did I lose you again? I can't see you. Are you maybe you were looking at something else? Oh, oh there you are. Hello? Can you hear me okay? I can see you now, but I can't hear you. Let me I'm gonna kick the other Marcus. Oh there. I can hear you now.
Yes, it was okay. The message literally just came up saying, "Okay, your browser had lost connection." So that was
Oh, okay.
yeah. Sorry about that. So
That's fine.
but you say you don't budge. What does "don't budge" mean at this point?
It really depends on the situation, but like now I've had I've been through even some programs, like coaching programs, to kind of like get me to the point where I'm comfortable with charging at the rate that I am charging,
Hmm.
for market rate and hourly and the strategy behind why I price the way I price, that kind of thing. How
Okay.
about you?
Honestly, and maybe this has just been uh, me being lazy, but I've kind of kept my prices at a at a stage or at a level where they're they're understandable because I'm pretty sure that people spend a lot more. My mentality is to always be working, right? So does that mean I'm probably less expensive than a lot of other guys? Yeah, for the amount of work or the style or the quality. Yeah, that's probably what that means. But I think when you keep things, and maybe this isn't good, like when you keep things low enough that no one, I don't have to haggle, right? I don't have to explain in great detail what it is that you're gonna get because the price is so low. I will say that it has it has the adverse effect because when, and I'm not bigging myself up, I'm just saying when I do a certain quality of work, and it's so low, a person takes that and flips it in a way that says something about this isn't right. And I'm just like, I want to keep the work coming in. So then I've had this happen so many times where they'll go somewhere else, pay two, three times what they paid me, but then hate most of it. And so now I'm in a position where I can't be the guy that says, "You paid them what?" Oh, okay. No, I have to be consistent and just, okay, my price is my price. This is what I said I would do, and this is what I'm gonna do. But and even in those cases, I have like stipulations of, well, I'm not gonna shoot the same thing, right? So if you had on this first, let me see the photos, and if you had on this dress, I'm not shooting that again. So let's figure something else out because I, even though I'm helping you out, I gotta in some way make it mine. That is with portrait clients. Now, corporate clients, I've been really fortunate that they have let me do me, but when you create certain types of work, it they use it for so long. So it's like, okay, hey, last year I know we did this incredible campaign. What are you guys doing this year? Oh, we're still running that campaign. Or we're going to rebrand at some other point. Then when we do, we'll talk to you then. It's a weird business, which is why I've diversified my skill set with other things because I have amazing photography years, and then I have years where I pretty much redid a portfolio that year, but everything else is consistent. Like right now, I hadn't worked on a website, like a really intense website in years, but I'm doing one for a series of ministries who different churches are starting up, and then they wanted a guy who can build something quickly and give it a certain look. So I'm always moving.
Yeah, it you really are like multi-talented. You can do a lot of different things. And I dabbled for many years too on different things. So I'm like, oh, I realize I'm not into that kind of project. So I'm going to charge a lot for that. I'll help people. I will get it done for people. I know what I like. If I like it, whatever I put my time and energy towards, it's going to be a good result. And I also think of the client in mind. I want them to have great results as well. So, I mean, it's like I see the struggle because, you don't want to be in a position where not a lot of people will contact you as much if your prices are super high. But then at the same time, when you know you're going to put in great work and time and effort, you want to be paid for what you put your time and effort in so for me, I fall into the category where I'm okay if I don't get as many phone calls and requests for proposals. I charge higher so that I know I can support the quality of work that I'm putting out, like for my output,
Mm.
you
So
know.
giving you that, but what gives you that comfort though? What do you say the thing that I have that says, I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna, stick to my guns and just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely should have a conversation offline so that we can get into the nitty-gritty.
Like,
Um, I could tell you like yeah, so a lot of it is so if you were to take your hourly and calculate the total amount of time, I measure my time, I track my time, and I know it's going to take me X amount of hours to fulfill this project, then I could suggest, hey, this is what it costs flat rate, and you let me control, most of the production side of things. Or if you're not familiar with that person and you don't know how picky they are, every client's different. Like sometimes they might be too detailed. Some of them are like, just get the job done. I trust you, that kind of thing. It depends on that kind of scenario. Then you would charge hourly, and then if they're comfortable with that, because sometimes people get scared, like, oh my gosh, you charge that hourly, but I don't know what that's going to amount to later on, so it's good to kind of define, like, this is what it generally takes me, my turnaround, and this is what it costs in total rate. And for you and your at least for you, since you have so many years of experience, you want to factor in that too. Like it's okay for you to bump your rates up because you've been adding more value to your experience and technical skills. So you don't want to shoot yourself
So,
cut yourself short.
so changing rates, did you find that you lost clients in the beginning and then, I guess gain the client that you wanted, or did you just did in your experience you see that okay, these are my rates and that's it, and then those that understood just paid it?
Yeah, I think it's because I have backing with the years of experience and the samples of work. In the beginning, or if for anyone who doesn't have any work to show for or any track record, then it's hard to negotiate anything high, right? Although people are getting away with that these days. But so there is that customer base that might actually um that are used to the market rate for whatever it is, and they'll know if you're legit if you actually charge at market rate.
Mhm.
Sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, this person's kind of like it looks like they're still kind of learning things and they're trying to figure things out. I don't really want to go with them because they're charging like way less than they should be." Sometimes they'll vet you for that too. So in a sense, there's that clientele that's like, I know it's going to be within this price range. If they're going to fit that, and I know that they actually have the confidence to fulfill on that, then I'm going to go with them. And so, and this is something that I've heard through programs that I've been a part of. People will pay you higher because they feel like you'll actually get it done right.
Mm.
You know.
Got- Gotcha.
Obviously, we're not looking at numbers right now, so we behind the scenes, we can, definitely chat about that.
Well, and like I said, to me, it's never been about the number, but like I said, I'm a father and a husband, so I never want to discount that aspect of it, or I never want to not think about. I don't want to be the artist that just doesn't care really, but I do, but not to the point where the work suffers. So I'm trying to learn to balance doing the work
Right.
and being compensated for the work, because I don't know what I do. Everything that I do, I would do it because I love it. I would do it for free. Like I design things, I design interiors, and I would do that for free. I work on rendering them and making them look photorealistic because I love it. I would do it for free because I do it. Um, so I'm trying to. I've always had that struggle, always, which is
Yeah,
why
me too.
when it came to entrepreneurial things, I never considered myself an entrepreneur because I've always I've always divided my time between working in corporate America and what I did with my business.
Like,
I
to have that creative outlet.
Well, not necessarily
Yeah.
outlet. I just say, hey, if I have, you have some people working 80 hours a week at one job. Okay, I'm working the same 80 hours a week, but I kind of have two jobs. Um, so I've never looked down on it, but I will say I'm at the point where I'm thinking, what if I put 80 hours into the things that I love to do? How does that look? Where does that take me? But you weigh the dream against the practical, and usually the practical wins out for
Yeah,
for me because I'm a responsible person.
which is very important. I think my husband wishes that I would be more responsible too. He just said I have to balance my life with, the schedule with the kids that I have, and, I need a creative outlet and keep my practice fresh so that maybe I will be full-time remote for a big company. And right now I'm happy that I'm able to help people out, help small businesses out, and then, help Domi out and run my business. I've learned so much just running my own business for, X amount of years. It's about 8 years, I guess. I feel like we learned so much, putting ourselves, on doing to learn those things, putting ourselves in a position to learn those new things.
And I learned a great deal. I learned a great deal while I was at Domi, just, with the door open, listening to what I thought was like, hey, I'm working, but I'm also getting all this free knowledge. And you guys do an amazing job at helping um, small business owners and entrepreneurs. And like I said, I kind of felt bad from time to time because I would get this knowledge, but I've never been just an entrepreneur. There was a short time, right? But I can't even count it, maybe 2 or 3 years, where I was just like full time my business. And then, once again, the practical happens, kids. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And back then, we didn't have the resources to know that I could get insurance for my business or I could, have help and assistance through the business. So, and I've always been a hard worker and I have a myriad of skills. I can get a job, and so since then I've always had a job. So I'm at the point where I'm literally thinking how I've built this equilibrium with my life now. Right? Cool. I can go to work all day, and then I really don't have a ton of other things I got to do. So I like doing creative stuff. I like being creative. So but I want to figure out how to take that creativity to a level where it I want it to compete with the job at this point. I
Yeah.
want to literally have the struggle of deciding, oh my God, which one of these am I going to do?
Yes, we need to continue this conversation because I am like, I have so many different ways you could do it. Yeah, I know this is exciting. I love it. And I know we can keep talking. Like I know we can continue to for this conversation, but I know both of us, like your time is limited. Thank you for taking the time to hop on the show and I want to share with everybody, make sure that you guys follow Marcus. He's on Instagram, he's on LinkedIn, connect with him. He's got and also go check out his website with his partners. Please reach out to him. um Really, it's really fascinating to see that you're in this, you're always curious and you're always willing to learn something new. And I think that's what makes entrepreneurs is that we don't want to get stuck in just like monotony, and we don't want to be bored. I think we want to be in a position where we're always learning and helping people at the same time. And I feel like entrepreneurship does that.
I really need to, yeah, we really need to have this conversation because I've had so many ideas for such a long time. And at this point, I just want to run with them all because I really feel like there's no time like the present. And like you, myself, those of us that have been around for so long doing what we've done and have built a reputation doing it, there's no way that we can't collaborate and figure something out, especially
Right.
a place like Tallahassee where like everyone knows me, everyone knows Julia, everyone
I think
like
everyone knows you more than me, but
they
did you see, like, when you hopped off, I noticed that Laura Lee had commented, like, I'm sharing it there on the screen. Laura Lee had said hi. She probably misses seeing you too.
and before I say let me say thank you to Laura Lee. She inspired me in a way that I can't imagine because here it is, I'm thinking that I want to do something, right? And I'm working for this company doing what I'm doing. And then every day I look over and she's just the sunshine, the window, the coffee, the great hair. And it's like, hey, I'm I'm in here in the dark, like an elf. And she's over there like, just I'm going to lunch and I don't know if I'm coming back today. I don't know.
It's
And
still come around. I mean, we miss you. Like, the Adobe team misses seeing you around, so.
do miss that place. And like I said, I've learned so much. She so much. Um, Robert, oh my God, the guy knows entrepreneurship. You know, it was a great place. And like I said, I ended up going back to the corporate world somewhere else. But I can honestly say I miss Domi. I really
You're
do.
still welcome there. The door is always open, and keep us, yeah, for sure. Like, come out to the community events or keep us in mind. But we got approved by the county to get renovations, so we're going to open up more small offices.
Mm,
So of
I need.
course, just don't be a stranger.
Oh, no.
We're going to be in contact. We're going to have one-on-ones, right?
I
And
hope you got everything for me. Did you need? I know we didn't talk a lot about the work. We ended up talking about other stuff, but yeah, the work speaks for so much. I need to get, and I think I could get that from you guys.
for sure. And I just want to thank everybody who catches this recording later on. I know nobody's on live right now, but it's okay. I felt like this conversation was awesome. And Marcus, you dug deep. Like I didn't expect to be asked questions. I was hoping that.
Gotta-
And I hope we can definitely continue this conversation more about how we can, make the side hustle to compete your day job.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thanks, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast. Marcus, I'll see you backstage.
That's awesome. Yeah.